Comfort feels safe, doesn't it? It wraps around you like a warm blanket. It whispers sweet lies that you deserve rest, that today isn't the right time, that maybe tomorrow you'll be stronger. It rewards you instantly. No pain, no risk, no failure, just ease. But comfort is a trap, a beautiful velvet-lined cage that you're decorating with every excuse. You think you're resting. You think you're protecting yourself. But you're locking yourself in, and every time you choose comfort over effort, over change, over discomfort, you reinforce the bars, you feed the cage, you polish the walls that are holding you back. What you call peace is actually paralysis. What you call self-care is sometimes self-sabotage, and deep down, you know it. You know you were meant for more, but more requires movement, and movement requires struggle. And struggle terrifies people who've gotten used to soft living. But no greatness ever came from comfort, not once. Because comfort doesn't demand effort, it doesn't demand courage, it asks nothing from you, and gives nothing in return. You weren't born to play it safe. You weren't made to live in circles. You weren't created to repeat the same easy days until your time runs out. Look around. How many people are wasting their lives in exchange for comfort? They go to jobs they hate because it pays enough. They avoid change because the unknown scares them. They keep toxic relationships because at least they're familiar. That's comfort, not love, not purpose. Just habit wearing a mask. And every day you live like this, you're proving to yourself that survival is enough. But survival is not the same as living. Just because you breathe doesn't mean you're alive. Just because you're safe doesn't mean you're free. Real freedom costs something. It demands you leave the cage. It demands pain, rejection, uncertainty. But beyond that chaos is the version of you that's waiting, that's craving, that's begging to be let out. But as long as you keep feeding your comfort, with time, with excuses, with tomorrows, that version of you stays trapped, starved, forgotten. Every time you avoid the gym, avoid the book, avoid the hard conversation, you feed the cage. Every time you say, "I'm too tired," when you know it's just fear, you feed the cage. Every time you settle because trying feels scary, you feed the cage. And the more you feed it, the stronger it gets. The more familiar it feels. You stop noticing the bars because they look like pillows, but you're stuck. You've become a prisoner in a palace of your own design. And the worst part, you're the guard. You hold the key. But you're afraid of what happens if you leave. You're afraid of falling, of failing, of being uncomfortable. But that discomfort is the only thing that can set you free. That discomfort is your escape route. You don't need more inspiration. You need to starve the cage. Stop giving it your energy. Stop giving it your time. Choose discomfort. Choose effort. Choose fear. Because every time you do, the cage shrinks. Every time you do, you remember who you are. You won't break free all at once. It starts with a whisper, a tug in your chest, a thought that maybe you're meant for more. And you are, but more won't come to you. You have to chase it. And chasing means stumbling, falling, bleeding a little. That's the price of freedom. And you can't pay that price while sitting still. You can't pay that price while waiting for confidence to show up. Confidence is a product of movement. You build it by doing hard things, by proving to yourself that comfort is lying to you, that you're not weak, you're just soft. And softness can be hardened with reps, with pressure, with fire. And once you feel what it's like to push past comfort, you'll never want to go back. You'll taste freedom and realize it was never out of reach, just outside your cage. Think about this: the life you want, the health, the love, the money, the peace. It's not in your comfort zone. If it was, you'd already have it. The fact that you don't is the only proof you need. Comfort didn't get you there. It never will. It's not supposed to. Comfort is the reward, not the path. It comes after you've earned it, after you've bled, after you've broken yourself down and rebuilt stronger. But we reversed it. We want reward first. We want pleasure before progress. But it doesn't work like that. You can't skip the pain. You can't shortcut the climb. You have to suffer a little, grow through tension, lean into difficulty. Not because suffering is noble, but because it's necessary. Because the stronger version of you doesn't live in softness. It lives in struggle. Look at anyone you admire, anyone who's achieved something real. They didn't get there by choosing what felt good. They got there by doing what felt necessary. They walked into fear. They danced with discomfort. They made a habit of doing the hard thing. And now they live a life most people only dream of, not because they're lucky, but because they stopped feeding the cage. They starved it, day by day, one uncomfortable decision at a time. And eventually, the cage crumbled. And they were free. That freedom is available to you too, but not until you get honest with yourself. Not until you stop lying about why you haven't moved. Not until you stop blaming others for the life you're tolerating. You're not stuck. You're just comfortable. And that's far more dangerous. Your potential doesn't live in easy. It lives in the stretch, in the tension. In the mornings where your bed begs you to stay, but you rise anyway. In the nights where your mind tells you to quit, but your soul whispers one more rep. In the days that feel thankless, but you show up anyway. That's where greatness is hiding. It's not glamorous, it's not sexy, but it's real, it's powerful, and it's yours if you're willing to pay the price. But as long as you keep feeding your comfort, you're choosing average, you're choosing regret, you're choosing to live inside walls you built with your own hands. Is that really what you want? Is that really what you were born for? Or are you finally ready to break free? Breaking the cage won't feel good at first. It will feel wrong, like you're betraying something. That's normal. That's the addiction talking. Because comfort is addictive. It makes you believe discomfort is dangerous. But it's not. Discomfort is the path to transformation, to clarity, to pride. You don't need more ease. You need more fire, more resistance, more reasons to rise. So let the world call you crazy. Let them say you've changed. Let them say you're intense. Because they're still decorating their cages. You're tearing yours down. And that's the difference between the dreamers and the doors, between the stuck and the free, between the asleep and the alive. You'll know you're escaping when things feel uncomfortable, when your heart races and your mind screams, "Go back." That's the sign you're doing it right. Growth doesn't feel safe. It feels necessary. You weren't made to live inside loops. You weren't made to fear discomfort. You were made to lead, to rise, to stretch so wide that your cage can't contain you anymore. And when that day comes, you'll laugh at how small your world used to be, how long you lived under your potential, how often you let comfort seduce you. But no more. Not now. Now you're starving the cage. Now you're feeding the fire. And there's nothing more dangerous than someone who's finally hungry for more. So here's your decision. Stay in the soft, warm, beautiful lie, or step into the cold, sharp, raw truth. Stay where it's easy, or go where it's real. The cage will always be there, waiting, calling you back with promises of rest. But you're done listening. You're done settling. From this moment forward, you starve comfort. You starve excuses. You choose pain over peace, because pain leads to purpose. You choose effort over ease, because effort leads to evolution. And when you look back, years from now, you'll thank yourself for this moment, the moment you stopped feeding the cage, the moment you chose to finally live.